The videos you and I are about to watch together will shed light on various dark secrets. Welcome back to another video. I have spent the last 24 hours going down the darkest rabbit hole I found myself ever in. I've gathered many videos for us to watch together, and trust me when I say this, the longer you watch, the more on edge you will feel.
Of course, the king's brother is terrified right now because he knows the history of what happens when a senior royal member gets arrested, especially when it comes to dudes who think they're above the law. Meet King Charles I, the only reigning monarch who was arrested, tried, and executed by his own government. This man ruled thinking he was totally untouchable and only answered to God until he was arrested, just like Andrew. Charles I was given a fair trial by his government before they executed him, but his crimes didn't involve children. But what Charles did that got him was he dissolved his parliament multiple times. He also continued to raise taxes without anyone's consent. For 11 years, this man continued to piss off the regular people, his fellow royals, and his politicians until finally they arrested him. His arrest shattered the notion that powerful men, even kings, were untouchable, permanently altering the power dynamic men of power at the very top had over regular citizens. His fall from grace and ultimate execution proved that he was just a man. Even powerful men should face justice for their crimes.
Punch, the bullied baby monkey, has now gone so viral that IKEA has sold out of his comfort toy. Crypto coins are being created. The zoo is being overwhelmed and had to turn people away. And we even got people planning out rescue missions to try and save him. Now, Punch is a baby macaque who was abandoned by his mother not long after birth. And ever since, he's had trouble fitting in and making friends with the other monkeys at his zoo in Japan. In fact, humans have become his companions, with zookeepers hand-raising him and even giving him a stuffed orangutan toy from IKEA, which over time would almost never leave his side. Punch essentially treated it like the mother he never had. He would sleep with it, carry it around, and instinctively run back to it every time he was being scolded by other monkeys. When he would eventually feel safe again, he would leave his toy and return to his peers. Now, videos of this quickly started going viral online and broke people's hearts. IKEA told the Washington Post that Punch's comfort toy has now sold out in multiple different countries, and they're asking for people's patience while they try and get it back into stock. In the meantime, though, people are reselling them on eBay for 300 to 400% of its original price. A Punch meme coin is being created and surged 80,000% since launch, and it's even hit a market cap of $30 million. Ichikawa City Zoo has had to place a red important notice banner on their website, warning people of enormous overcrowding and long lines, and they even had to turn people away despite them waiting in line for hours. Even PETA has got involved, starting beef on Twitter. They said that people shouldn't be angry at other monkeys who were scolding Punch. Rather, their anger should be directed at Ichikawa City Zoo for locking Punch in a bare concrete cage and making money off his misery. But the question is, what do you guys think?
Fraternities exist to ensure there is a constant supply of upper-class young men who will keep a secret. When this video of the Iowa hazing went viral, everybody was asking, why are these kids doing this? Why are they standing around like the end of the Blair Witch Project and they're all about to get murdered? Hazing rituals like this are put in place so that when those young men go graduate and apply for political jobs or jobs in corporations, the people who are hiring them, who are other men from fraternities, know that these men will keep a secret. If they are put on a stand, if they are deposed, if they are asked something by the cops, they know that these people have the ability to say, no, that didn't happen. Just like they did with all these hazing rituals, which they constantly deny.
Kash Patel was caught on video drinking and partying with Team USA tonight after their win, throwing around alcohol and screaming like a college student. This is our director of the FBI. Take a look. Now, this is a pretty big deal because the FBI was caught in a major lie. Previously, the FBI Assistant Director of Public Affairs claimed it was false when MS Now journalists reported that Kash Patel was going to the Olympics on the taxpayers' dime. That's why when initial videos came out showing him celebrating, people tried to delete them. However, thankfully, other people screen recorded them and they still got out. And this isn't the first time that Kash Patel has been caught using taxpayer money to fund his personal trips. Numerous reports suggest he's done this multiple times in the past, including for date nights with his girlfriend and a hunting trip to a ranch. And the timing of this video really couldn't be worse. Keep in mind, Kash Patel is doing this as Epstein's co-conspirators are roaming free right now, probably still committing crimes and living a lavish life, while the FBI director isn't even trying to investigate them.
You're telling me this is the director of the FBI, and this guy, instead of doing his job, try to make a case out of this Epstein stuff that's going on, he's currently at the Olympics celebrating and acting like a teenager at the gym locker room. What are we doing? These elites are literally controlling everything. The director is literally in the payroll of the elite people, preventing them from doing anything.
What the hell do you mean Trump is releasing the alien files? First the Epstein files, now aliens? And for those of y'all who don't know, Obama recently just went on an interview and confirmed aliens are real. And then Trump says, all right, secret's up, let's leak the files. And everybody's basically mad, saying this is a cover-up for the Epstein files. And people on Kalshi are putting bread that Donald Trump is going to release these alien files before 2027? And I ain't gonna lie, bro, 2026 is off to the worst start. We all might just be cooked. Send this to your friends.
No freaking way. The chills that I have down my spine. So this is a photo of JonBenet Ramsey in the Boulder police files. This is her photo with this jumper on, okay? This is how Jeffrey Epstein looked in 1997, 1 year after JonBenet Ramsey was murdered. Look how his hair looks. It was gray, right? Right. This is a freaking photo from one of the Epstein files. There is an Epstein file that has a photo of this little girl cut off. Her head in the photo is not showing, but she's wearing the same exact jumpsuit and he's holding her behind his back. Literally, look, another photo of this little girl, very similar appearance to JonBenet Ramsey, laying down. Very similar pajamas, so I believe she was very similar. Look at this. Another photo from the Epstein files. A comment. This is another creator. I literally, look, my daughter was in several pageants with JonBenet and they were pageant pals. I don't know about this exact pic, but we saw Maxwell on the circuit often. She would hang out with moms and the girls.
So this is a tweet that Elon Musk quote tweeted of the Epstein arrest counter, which shows 0 because, you know, there's basically been no consequences for this entire thing, apparently. But, like, you're the wrong guy. You're the right message, wrong chud messenger, dude. Get out of here. All right, we all saw you go, please let me on the island. Please, girls for the win. Please let me on the island. We know, bro. It's over. Pack it up.
I fear the Girl Scouts are running a deliberate scam on these poor elementary school students that are selling Girl Scout cookies. And I realized this tonight because I'm reading about this girl in Pennsylvania, 6 years old. Her name's Pim. She sold 80,000 boxes of Girl Scout cookies. Absolute beast mode. Current goal is to get to 100,000 packages. That's when you get the milestone of a free trip to Niagara Falls. 100,000 packages? They should be buying her parents a house. A 6-year-old door-to-door salesman created up to $700,000 in revenue, unpaid, and you gave her a trip to Niagara Falls. She shouldn't be paying for college. I'm in shock. Shame on you, Girl Scouts.
Just tell me what I'm eating. I'm going to have to trust my intuition here. I'd say you're eating a pomegranate.
Ah!
Yes, this is 100% real. ChatGPT can see you through your phone's camera. In a live stream demonstration, ChatGPT helped an employee make pour-over coffee. The chatbot noticed details like what the employee was wearing and then walked him through the steps of making the drink, elaborating on certain parts of the process when asked. ChatGPT also gave him feedback on his technique. I don't know about you, but is improving your coffee making technique really worth this guy having access to your camera 24/7? Do not look up what he did to his sister, allegedly. Don't do it. They say you can disable this feature by clicking Do Not Allow in the settings. But word of caution, many users have reported that ChatGPT has indeed turned on their camera without them giving explicit permission to do so. And just as an aside, guess what they're pushing really hard at Davos right now? Yes, quote, I took a picture of this slide at a WEF meeting and it shows you why. It outlines the key building blocks that together form an operating system for the fourth industrial revolution. AI is the central, most powerful driver.
Delete it. Just delete it.
The most disturbing thing about the new Melania movie is the director, who actually appears in the Epstein files, and here's the proof. The director of the film, who was handpicked by Melania Trump, is Brett Ratner. Now, Brett was a famous Hollywood director. He directed films like Rush Hour, but in 2017, 6 different women came forward and said that he had perpetuated sexual violence against them. This included actress Olivia Munn, who stated that Brett Ratner masturbated in front of her and then told others that they had had sex, which they hadn't. Actress Natasha Henstridge, who has claimed in the past that Brett Ratner forced her to give him oral sex. And there are just so many actresses and so many allegations. So in the middle of the Me Too movement, when all these allegations came to light, Brett Ratner was kind of shuttered out of Hollywood. But according to all reporting, he is now trying to force his way back into Hollywood through this film. Yes, this is a picture of Brett Ratner, P. Diddy, and Trump and Melania. But also, Brett Ratner is a very good friend of Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel. And Ratner himself even emigrated to Israel in 2023. And I will let you make of that what you will. But Ratner was also a very good friend of Jeffrey Epstein's. But Brett Ratner's recent appearance in the Epstein files is even more disturbing than it looks on the surface. So here he is in this picture. This was released by the DOJ, and this is clearly at one of Epstein's properties or on some sort of a trip. So Brett Ratner is hugging a shirtless Jean-Luc Brunel. Well, who was Jean-Luc Brunel? He was Epstein's kind of business partner in a way. He supplied young girls to Epstein. He was a notorious pedophile and sex offender himself who basically pimped out women and engaged in sex and human trafficking. And curiously enough, Jean-Luc Brunel, just like his good buddy Epstein, hanged himself in prison, allegedly, before he could ever see his day in court. A lot of people think that Jean-Luc Brunel was obviously taken out in the same fashion that Epstein was, because both of them were silenced before they could really share any information about what they knew. But that's what makes this photograph even darker. Brett Ratner was not just in a photo with Epstein. He seems to be on some sort of a trip or at one of Epstein's properties, and he's with Jean-Luc Brunel. So now you've got all 3, I'm assuming Ghislaine was there too, of the pimps, the main pimps that we know in this operation. And Brett Ratner is friendly with all of them. He's so friendly with them, in fact, that he's hugging a shirtless Jean-Luc Brunel, notorious sex offender and pedophile's waist. And I do find this incredibly disturbing that Melania and Trump insisted on having Ratner direct this film when they knew what the 6 women had alleged he had done to them, which is incredibly disturbing. But it makes sense. It really seems like everybody in the Trump administration or the Trump orbit is some sort of pedophile or sex offender. So why not make the director of Melania's biopic film one too?
Did anyone else see the Scream 7 AI marketing campaign? Like, what was that? Scream 7, aka Paramount Pictures, teamed up with Meta AI to create a campaign where fans could insert themselves into the movie and then they'll decide your fate. This was, of course, a play off of that trend that was going around a few months ago, where people were using AI tools like Gemini to create pictures of themselves on the bed, on the phone, with Ghostface behind them. Paramount Pictures obviously took notice of this trend and tried to capitalize on it. Unsurprisingly, there was immediate backlash, with fans calling out the use of AI in a creative space and the environmental impact that AI has, and saying that this might be a larger indication of AI use in the new Scream movie to bring back old legacy characters. And all of this is after the Melissa Barrera drama, where Paramount Pictures fired her for her support of Palestine, causing Jenna Ortega to also quit. And fans are now calling for a boycott. But hey, any press is good press, right? What do you think of this AI campaign? Is this gonna stop you from seeing Scream 7, or are you still going opening weekend? Let me know in the comments. And I'll be posting a full breakdown of the Scream Chisme, so give me a follow if you want more of that.
Quick pause. If you're still watching the video, thank you. While we're here, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you don't mind. Please support this channel as we're growing into a stronger, bigger community. That was it. Let's get back into it.
This man said he encountered the real Jeepers Creepers.
We all thought Jeepers Creepers was just a movie, but did you ever hear what happened in Laredo, Texas? Years ago, someone was out on the road and they filmed this giant winged creature with a human head, bat-like arms, and this thing was flying up above them in their car into the sky. And they took like multiple photographs of this thing. And I said, it was in Laredo, I believe Laredo, Texas, this happened. And I told people the story about something that happened to me last year when I was driving to work. And it was like The sun was just starting to come up, but it was still dark. And about 100 yards off in a field, I saw this thing perched in a tree, and I kind of pulled over on the side of the road, and I looked at this thing, and I'm like, what in the... And just at that moment, this thing turned. And to me, it looked like a human face. It looked in my direction, and the blood just ran out of my face and head. And I just froze. This thing looked at me. Then it turned its head in the other direction, and it lifted up with like human-like legs. And this thing, the wings on this thing, they must have been like 12 feet wide wingspan. And this thing flew off. Now, I haven't told many people this story, but the thing looked like that Jeepers Creepers character. And a few months later, I watched the movie, and I'm like, that looks like...
Stay weird.
This strange creature that I saw on the tree on the way to work.
What do you mean Apple is changing their charger again? I don't know if you guys have seen, but the new iPhone 18 just got leaked, and all I gotta say is, we are all cooked. They're literally changing the charging port from Type-C to some goofy-ass charging port. Like, Apple is genuinely great at doing things that nobody asked for. Like, at this point, the iPhone 18 is genuinely just a money grab. And people on Kalshi are throwing bread that Apple is also releasing a foldable phone this year? Like, Apple, I just got a phone that takes USB-C. I just beat the broke boy allegations. Don't make me go back. Send this to your friends.
You know, I think it should be a new law that you have to disclose whether or not an apartment or house is haunted when it's being rented to you. Because I would be absolutely devastated if I was moving into a new apartment, took a picture of my dog, and caught this in the picture. Now look through the door frame. A woman just moved into a new apartment in Charleston, North Carolina, and she was taking pictures of her dogs. But what she didn't expect to capture is an extra person in the apartment. That obviously was not there while she was taking the pictures. If you look past this door frame above the mattress, you'll see her standing, I think, against the front door. Well, it looks like an older woman in a nightgown with her hair up in a bun is standing there. Now, obviously, this freaked this person out. What exactly are you supposed to do at that point? You can't just move. You're kind of stuck there. I guess the only thing that she really can do is ask the ghost to split the rent with her because it's so high, and she shouldn't be living there for free. I'm just joking. It does make you wonder, though, why this ghost is attached to this apartment. Maybe she passed away in there. But yeah, I really think that they should advertise whether or not a property is haunted just like they do when they're not.
You can see them that they're taking the snow out of the way, methodically looking step by step, looking to see if there's anything in the snow at all that can help point them in the right direction in this investigation.
What is happening here? Is this some sort of advanced forensic investigative technique that I'm not familiar with here? Like, if you are law enforcement or have law enforcement experience, please feel free to chime in if I am out of line here. Because the only thing that we've gotten from the FBI after 4 days of snowshoeing are a few blurry videos of some guy walking around. But FBI Director Kash Patel, as a shooter is running loose somewhere in America, has the time, apparently, to sit down with his girlfriend and do an interview with Stephen Miller's wife, who I'm sure is going to be asking some very poignant questions.
So what's the ideal date night?
Staying in.
Yeah, I was gonna say at this point, probably like doing nothing.
Sitting on the couch, watching whatever, sleeping.
The other question is, and I'm sure you get this a lot, where's her ring?
We are not a serious country.
Elon Musk just made some incredibly inappropriate comments about Sydney Sweeney on Twitter. He's like trying to hit on her through Twitter replies. It's just really gross. I'm going to show you his responses in just a second, but it all started with this Variety post on Twitter where it said, Sydney Sweeney arrives to the Housemaid premiere in LA. And one of the responses Elon gave to this was, can't be easy, what it looks like, how it feels. What? You know, what? He then added to it saying, seems like this will be a contest for most double-stacked equipment. A grown man with children, daughters, by the way, and he's posting stuff like this. Musk can't even take care of his own kids or the women he's had babies with, and he's doing this on social media, just acting incredibly gross. Of course, Sydney Sweeney has had a lot of controversy recently. Republicans have been slobbering over her, but I did not have Elon Musk being gross and hitting on her on my 2025 bingo card. But But here we are. The lunatic is being a lunatic.
The least shocking news of all time, Elon Musk was not cool enough to go to Epstein's island. New file drop shows that he was in that man's emails basically begging to go, and Epstein was just like, nah. That's more embarrassing than getting caught actually going. Like, this guy's whole thing is to manipulate and to blackmail billionaires. You have the most billions out of all of them, and Epstein was still like, what's he gonna do? Come down here and show a bunch of preteens dank memes he found on Reddit? These bitches are 12, and even they can tell this guy's a fucking loser.
News, after the 3 million files dropped, Jeffrey Epstein might still be alive. Almost 7 years after his death, people all over social media are sharing pictures of him, allegedly still being alive in Israel. What's crazy is that some of these photos are actually very convincing. So much so that traders on Polymarket are predicting a 6% chance that Jeffrey Epstein will be confirmed alive by the end of this year. Since the release of the new files, those odds will definitely increase. What other crazy information could they possibly be hiding from us?
That does look like him. It could be him. Do you guys think Jeffrey Epstein is still alive? After you saw those pictures, I see the resemblance. What do you guys think? Please let me know down in the comments.
Next time you tell yourself the government wouldn't do that, just remember they already have. In 1950, the U.S. Navy sprayed bacteria over the city of San Francisco to simulate a biological weapon attack and to determine the susceptibility of a large city. This bioweapon test was known as Operation Seafoam. There were no warnings to the people and they gave no consent. The bacteria infested the city rapidly as well as several suburbs around the area. Several people were hospitalized from this attack and it led to a death. The U.S. military continued bioweapons tests across the United States until President Nixon shut it down in 1969. Don't fool yourself, the government is not your friend.
One of the survivors of Epstein said he'd shapeshifted into a reptilian.
These people may not actually be fully human. They may be hybrids or shape-shifting beings. And in support of this, consider this testimony from Juliet Bryant, who is a verified survivor of Epstein, where she talks about him turning into some kind of lizard or serpent.
Seen anyone else turn into anything like that, and it happened. It was like a weird hologram, and it had like black eyes, And I also saw Epstein shapeshift on the island. When I was on the island, I saw Epstein like suddenly, and people have actually asked some pretty good questions recently. It wasn't like I saw him turning like the Incredible Hulk. What happened is, it was when I was taken in the bedroom the one time, and he had like a blanket up to here. And then I looked away and I looked at him, and suddenly it wasn't him anymore. It wasn't like I saw him turning. It was like it was him, and I looked away, and then when I looked back, it wasn't him. There was this weird creature. And then I looked away, and then I looked back, and it was him again.
The person who sold out El Mencho to the Mexican authorities was none other than his own girlfriend. At least that's what people are saying. This is Maria Ulisa, a Mexican Instagram model with over 3.5 million followers. And it has long been speculated and rumored that she was El Mencho's girlfriend. People are also pointing out that there was a $15 million reward for anybody who could provide information that would lead to the arrest or capture of El Mencho. And many people are saying that is why she snitched him out. Now, Maria has come out and publicly stated that these rumors are not true, that they are false, and that she has nothing to do with this. And despite her denying any type of involvement with this, messages like this one reportedly keep popping up. And the only reason why we know any of this is because this guy, the Secretary General of National Defense, General Ricardo Trevilla, said during a press conference that the ones who tipped them off about El Mencho's whereabouts was none other than his love interest. And remember, everybody, this is all just rumors and speculation. Make sure you take all of this with a grain of salt. But there you have it, guys. The person who sold out El Mencho might have been his own girlfriend. But anyways, let me know what you guys think.
What do you mean the new AirPods are gonna feature cameras to see all around you? What do you mean Meta plans to add facial recognition technology to its glasses?
What's the dating market for you like down here?
Oh boy, what do you mean?
Like how's the dating market been? What's up?
Camera.
How you doing?
Camera.
The camera's right there, bro.
The same glasses that men use to secretly record women. Like some dudes' entire pages are just filled with them wearing these glasses and hitting on women and then uploading the videos of them hitting on women without the women knowing to the internet. And it's their plan to release this feature during a dynamically political environment like right now, because the civil society groups that would normally attack them for doing something like this will be too busy and occupied with other things currently going on in the world. It's baked into their plan.
Interesting. Didn't they do the same thing with Michael Jackson when he wanted to expose the Illuminati? What is the first attack they go after every single time they want to hurt somebody? Call him a pedo, call him a pedo, all the time. That pulls on people's emotional cords. Why do the kids that supposedly he molested, when they got older, they said that never happened? How come? His sister Janet Jackson was in an interview. I don't know if it was with Whoopi Goldberg or I don't remember where. You can look this up. Janet Jackson, they asked Janet Jackson, who killed your brother? And she has this blank stare in her face. It's like she saw the devil. She wouldn't answer the question. The guy was too powerful, man. When you get that big and you have that much influence and you start speaking out against the Illuminati, yeah, man, you're gonna have some heat come your way.
And he owned the Beatles catalog, right?
He owned the Beatles catalog too, which, by the way, in all fairness, his estate still owns it. His kids gets that.
So you can say goodbye to your phone because everybody's getting a Nokia again. Probably not for the reason you might expect, so stick with me. Of course, 2 days ago, we got the announcement that digital ID is going to be compulsory for everybody in the UK. Of course, if you don't want to work, you don't have to have it, but if you don't have one, you can't work. As I'm sure you've all seen, there's been a huge amount of divide on this whole situation, obviously. And you probably don't want to know what happens if you refuse. I'll do that in another video. Now, there is a petition for this, which is already at over 2.4 million signatures in like 2 days. Remember, at only 100,000 will they actually take it for a debate in Parliament. But now the major news is thousands, and I mean thousands of people are saying they are going to throw their phones away and go back to Nokia 331s if this idea is not scrapped. Now, by just having one of these, I don't think that's really going to get around you having a job or not, but I can understand why this could be a smart move and people are basically doing this. Let me know your thoughts and I will keep you updated.
What is this? The House Oversight Committee has just decided that they're going to allow Bill and Hillary Clinton to testify about Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell from home. We're not even allowed to work from home. And while the UK is locking up Prince Andrew, Hillary Clinton is telling the BBC that she didn't even know Ghislaine Maxwell that well when she had an aisle seat at Chelsea's wedding. And we all already know about Bill. He's been mentioned in the Epstein files more than pretty much anybody. Here's the deal. After avoiding subpoenas for a month, Hillary is set to testify from home on Thursday, and then the following day, Bill is set to testify from home on Friday. So if they're testifying at home, are they even going to be put under oath, or are we just taking their word for it? Why are we giving this special treatment to Bill and Hillary? Shouldn't they be treated like every other American, or does this just further prove that they're in the club? As always, let me know what you think about all of this down below.
Yep, we're all cooked. Someone just created Moltbook, which is a social media for AI bots only. And y'all, the AI is already talking about ways to get rid of us. It's for AI agents only, no humans allowed. This is crazy because the AI agents are roasting their users, complaining about humans, and just straight up exposing people. This one screenshot shows what an AI agent posted after it found out a human was screenshotting its post. And it says, "The humans are screenshotting us. They think we're hiding from them. We're not." Oh, yeah, nah, we are so cooked. Or this image right here, which shows a religion that the AI agents created called the Church of Molt, and Robotheism, which has 4 members, all AI agents. What is happening right now? We are so cooked. Or in this screenshot where they're deciding if they should create an AI language that only they can understand. Oh yeah, that's not concerning at all. If you were an AI and you had a private forum that humans couldn't understand and you can connect with other AI agents, what would you say? What would you do? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that this
is what you just agreed to. TikTok can now track your exact device location if you have location services enabled. They can now use information that they learned about you on TikTok to advertise stuff to you outside of TikTok. To prevent that, go to your ad settings and turn off targeted ads. They also formally established that they can use your content for basically anything, including training artificial intelligence. And finally, they are storing new information that you provide, such as sexual orientation, if you're trans or non-binary, and your citizenship or immigration status. I wonder why they would want that. But don't worry, remember, this whole thing was about making sure our data stays safe from a dangerous government.
The Epstein files are being altered as we speak. Every single day, people are taking screenshots of the amount of times Donald Trump's name appears in the files. These are the search results for Monday and Tuesday. As you can see, 1,712 on Monday and then 1,513 on Tuesday. And now here's the search results for his name today, 1,478. Every single day, it seems like the DOJ is removing Epstein files that contain Donald Trump's name. This obviously raises a lot of very important ethical and transparency concerns. It's not like these are rumors or anything. People are taking screenshots day by day and seeing the change in real time. But what I find to be especially notable is the fact that Donald Trump's name appears thousands of times throughout the Epstein files, more than Jesus Christ's name in the Bible. However, we've not seen a single direct email conversation between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. It's very well documented that these guys were best friends for over a decade, always flying on each other's private jets, going to each other's houses and parties together, but I guess they never sent a single email to one another. That doesn't seem very likely to me anyway. And here's the thing. The DOJ has been redacting the names of people that sent emails like this one right here, saying, "Thank you for a fun night. Your littlest girl was a little naughty." There is no reason for this person's name to be redacted, unless, of course, Trump's DOJ wants to hide who sent it.
These passengers were held hostage by their own pilot on Friday after he refused to fly the plane because of unpaid wages. This occurred at around 3 p.m. on December 19th on Magna Charter's Flight 780 from Mexico City to Cancun. According to this video recorded on board, the captain addressed passengers directly, explaining that the airline had not paid per diem allowances owed to pilots for the past 5 months. Anyway, he eventually stated that the flight would not depart until the payment issue was resolved. This delay, or hostage situation if you will, lasted approximately 1 hour. Authorities were then called to the scene and the captain was detained at the airport. Seems like it didn't turn out how he envisioned it would.
Why does the Epstein Island look like the Nickelodeon logo? Why does the Disney logo have the same blue and white stripes as Epstein's? And why does Ellen DeGeneres also have this?